style masters in China. And he won wushu championships over and over again. What happened was he was noted for that style, and the government didn't want him to do that style when they came overseas. And he was famous for monkey style and drunken style. So later on, what ended up happening, they had to kind of change the program when it came to the States. He ended up doing something called hip hop, which is a lot of flipping, all that jumping on the back, and you see the head spin stuff. And that's a style that actually looked a lot like the b-boy and stuff that we were doing. But we were influenced by the Hong Kong action films. And then when I came back, my teacher, the guy who taught me, happened to have this background with his master. Then later on, came back full circle to the breakdancing stuff. And so when I started doing my martial arts, it was a perfect fusion. And it was sort of an interesting thing to see how now Hong Kong action films and hip-hop culture have come full circle. And this film was a really good testament to that. And so, Jojo, thank you so much, brother, for introducing me to the art. And this kind of paying respects to the street stuff that came out for kids that were disenfranchised and were basically coming out the hood, the projects, and that's sort of what we ended up doing. And later on, it became this big international thing. And most recently, I was in Wisconsin doing a b-boy judging contest. This kid from Cambodia came and said, if it wasn't for the Rocksteady crew, I would have never gotten into b-boy. And I was like floored by that statement. And when we saw the crews that were competing, Japan, China, they had kids doing all kinds of stuff from all over the world. And it's something that started, in the South Bronx and evolved to this big global thing. And then now, years later, I got involved in filmmaking, and one of the main things that I've been trying to do is find a fusion, find a way to kind of tell a story that would introduce that. This film did that brilliantly, and I hope you all agree. It was an interesting way that they introduced the breakdancing in there and infused it with really interesting traditional martial art coupled with that. So, Yung Ping did a great job. And if you have any questions, with the...
Tell us about Rocksteady. Jojo, tell us
Jojo,
about Rocksteady.
What is it you want to know about Rocksteady?
Well, make it
Rocksteady
real.
started in the 70s. We were just neighborhood kids back in the days. We had nothing to do other than try to just dance and stay out of trouble. And for me, as a dancer, I used to always go out and just go out to the parks with DJ, because back in the days we were poor, so you get your light posts, you set up your equipment, you go out there and then you dance to whatever you could, whatever was provided for us. As the Rocksteady crew, I was the first generation Rocksteady crew. The second generation Rocksteady crew is the crew that really took it to the mainstream, that took it, they planted seeds all over the world, took trips over here, took trips over there, started dancing here and dancing there. So everybody started just, getting involved with it. So Rocksteady became a well-known entity in the hip-hop culture as far as the hip-hop dance for hip-hop. And myself, I created the backspin, which you actually seen it in the movie when he was spinning. That's a move that I made up by mistake.
And it's in your royalty check.
Yeah, right. Some on credit or something. But it was something that I made up by mistake. I was in my house and I was dancing, and my brother, I slipped and I spinned halfway, and my brother said, "Oh wow, do that backspin again." And that's where that term came from. And I just started doing it. And then when I finally exhibited in an actual battle, the place went crazy because they never seen it before. And this was in the 70s at a place called The Dungeon. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Beat Street, right? The movie Beat Street, the whole idea, the whole concept of the abandoned building and the street light poles and the electricity that went to supply the electricity for everybody was the space that we used to do our stuff in. And we had an actual contest there where I actually put that move out for the first time for everybody to see. It wasn't really showing off on it. It was actually in a competition where it was needed to win because there was like 3 groups against one. It was TDB, TDK, and Rockwell Association against a group called Star Child Rock, which was one from Track 2. Right after that, we ended up getting acquainted with Track, and he asked me to do me a favor and help him out, and that's what I did. I actually came into his crew and actually gave him a hand to compete against these other crews. So it's more like when you look at the karate movies, when you got this emperor that has all these guys, and then you got this one guy that comes in and everybody circles him and he's fighting everybody. It was something like that, but it was dancing. And you would come out there, like there was one time when actually me and my brother, we actually went up the block to meet a guy named Mike Spire, Shorty Rock, they ran a group called the CC Crew, which which was a Latin and half black breakdance group. It was right up the block from where I lived at when I lived in the Bronx. And we came up there, we was told that these guys were the best in that area. And that's just like in the karate movies when they say, this guy over here is the master and he can beat everybody. And you're like, well, I gotta go check out this guy's skills since he's claiming to be the best. So that's exactly what we did. When we was told that, we went up to Harrison Avenue. And when I got there, it sort of was like the karate movie. When I got there, I seen a guy sitting out. It's like seeing a Chinese guy standing in front of his dojo. And you walk up to him and say, hey, I want to see the master right now. And, you know, and you know, they all come running down to kill you or something. So it was something like that, but I got there with my brother, and I said, yo, his name was Spy, but I called him Spot, because I wasn't sure about the name. So I was like, yo, we come to battle B-Boy Spot. And he said, Spot? Who's Spot? I said, B-Boy Spot and Shorty Rock. He said, what do you mean, Spy? I said, yeah. He said, oh, wait, I'll be right back. He ran upstairs. When he came down with like 20, 30 guys. They all ran down. Me and my brother just went, they all backed up, and then here comes Shorty Rock and Spy. They come walking down like the two masters. They walked right up and stopped right there and said, who are you? And I said, well, I'm JoJo, and this is my boy, and my brother, B-Boy, you know, Easy Mike. He said, so what do you want? I said, we came to take you out. So that's like, you come to battle, huh? You know? So I was like, yeah, we come to take you out. So he was like, oh yeah? And there was a DJ named Cisco that actually arranged this whole thing. So I looked at Cisco and I said, box. He turned the box on and Patrick came on and that was it. That was the song for all of us back in the day.
Yeah, that was the anthem.
As soon as that came on, we started breaking and we started battling, and it was like looking at two different styles. It was like the karate movies. You got the Shaolin style, you got this style.
I gotta correct my brother.
Yeah.
Kung Fu film.
Sorry, you like me on that. It's like, you know, the Kung Fu movies, you had a different style, and you try to beat whoever wins has got the best style. So when these guys came down, I noticed that their style was different from my style as far as footwork and stuff like that. So we was like, wow, wait a minute, this is kind of different. We came out there, we started battling. They claimed to say that they won. We said that we won, but in reality, they were doing a little gymnastics, and back then we wasn't doing gymnastics with B-Boy. So I said, you know what, we're gonna settle this. You guys win in the air, and we won on the floor.
We're gonna run the tape now.
So there's we put together a quick little, I mean, I had a very short time to put this together, and I try to sample as much as I can to give you an idea of JoJo's background and his history and a little bit of what I've been doing. And enjoy it. It's a quick little clip, but then we can continue with the rest.
But it was kind of soft.
JoJo and them used to be off the hook, for real. They used to be like traveling. They was like gypsies in a way, because they used to find out wherever they jamming at, go there, and whoever was dancing over there, they would knock them off. Yeah.
Them boys were just so incredible. They were like stars coming out. These brothers would come out dressed, you know, not like bums like a b-boy was. Usually all bummy dress. These guys would be dressed nice, but boom, they'd come out and they were like stars. Yo, there goes JoJo, there goes Spy, there goes Jimmy D. There goes all of this track 2 right there with his big old track nameplate. Those are the brothers that made up the moves. All the moves that you see nowadays come from the root of those people.
A lot of its members were like all-star b-boys from the Bronx. The guys that started Jimmy D and JoJo, they hung out on at 115 Park in the Bronx.
We came up with the word rock steady. We started thinking because we want to continue dancing. We wanted to keep it at a steady pace.
You know, when they started doing it, a lot of people called it rocking, going on. And what they wanted to do, you know, they noticed that a lot of people were stopping around 76, 77. And, you know, they wanted to keep it going on. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to keep the rock steady.
It's like the martial arts films where it's like, I heard your style is good, but mine is better. You test this style.
And that was my way of recruiting.
Our aggression was breakdancing, was b-boying towards another crew. You know, because before that came, there was gangs. There could be a day that you feel like, oh, I don't feel like catching it today. But play one of those records and your mind will change really quick. You want to see some backspins, some headspins, some glides, and some windmills, you check it out, you know what I'm saying? Because this show represents, it makes it happen, you know what I'm saying? For all the b-boys. Peace. Rocksteady started back in the days, and it was about 30 members. We was a close-knit group. We wasn't a bully group. We didn't go out there and start trouble with anybody. We was the type of group that knew we was good. We wasn't show-offs or nothing. What we did was, we was the type that we would just show up and just do our stuff. You want to join us on the friendly tip, that was cool. But if you came aggressive style, it was on. And that's how we did our stuff back in the day. I am going to hit the floor today because I'm original b-boy and I'm going to go out there and do something. They're going to go crazy like always, you know what I'm saying? Maybe today, tomorrow, there are 3 days I'll go down at least once or twice, you know, because I'm kind of old. But it's all good. You know, I heard tomorrow, not today. That's a good thing. There's probably 4, 5, 6 generations of Rocksteady that's out there right now. From the oldest, myself, to the newest who's out there now, you know what I'm saying? And it's good to see younger cats that are looking up to me and also loving the fact that they're a b-boy and they're also out there to show and prove in their skills and continue the art form of b-boying. We all got our props, you know, we're one big family, and that's what makes this Rocksteady a strong force in the hip-hop community.
Everything, all the breaking and stuff like that was considered underground. And so Kool Herc brought everything out into the open. And that was like, say, 74, 75. All the underground stuff, all the in-house, all the hallway dances, and all the house party dances were brought out to the street. And the more they took it to the street, the more nationalities got involved in it. You know, it was no longer an Afro-American thing. The Hispanic took to the dance.
I know for a fact that when I went to some parts, it was registered Puerto Rican dancer breaking. And when they did, it was like, oh shit, check out the Puerto Rican b-boy, you know? I used to hustle, and I used to practice by myself, because I didn't dare cut in with the girls, thinking that a girl might be, oh, who's you, you know? So I used to just take to the floor, and I took all my aggression. They didn't notice me for my hustling abilities, they were gonna notice me for my breaking abilities. B-boy that's what it is. That's why when the public changed it to breakdancing, they was just giving a professional name to it. But b-boy was the original name for it, and whoever wants to keep it real will keep calling it b-boy. Share the love, do some teaching, donate some time to small kids that want to learn, and that's where we're at with this. That's all I can say. Peace.
That sort of started out with breaking, you know, like the movement, breakdancing was sort of a hip thing in martial